We are live.
Yes. What's going on, everyone? It is a different kind of evening rants, but not really, because we're going to talk about systemic health issues and
Yeah.
also how the public deals with it, where you're dealing with quote unquote experts. Well, I will say that he's not a doctor. He is a exercise science guy. So I would say that out of the three of us, me included, Alan is the most experienced and credentialed, seeing that he spent multiple years working in the healthcare industry. And this comes to mind as a man named Jeff Nippard. Now, if you're not from the fitness arena, you probably don't know who Jeff Nippard is. Jeff Nippard is a guy who is a seasoned powerlifter, a winning powerlifter. He's had a great powerlifting career. I believe he's a professional natural bodybuilder. So that would be not an IFBB pro, but one of those. I don't even know what natural organizations exist anymore. I'm not saying that as in a elitist or a demeaning way. I'm saying that I have no idea. It used to be OCB, WMBF, whatever. I have no idea what they are anymore. And he's also, I mean, his main claim to fame is, well, taking traditional training, if I'm wrong, correct me, and putting a scientific insult to it and then saying, here's how you should do it. Would that be correct?
Right. That seems about right. I mean, and honestly, for the lifting stuff, this weird thing is, like, I've got nothing against Jeff. I like when people try to use information and stuff like that. Just this about this thing ever since 2020. I mean, you know, the fitness people that bought into it, I just got so little respect for. You know what I mean? Because you know better. Like, you've got to know better. Like, you've got to know better. We understand how the body works, and I don't care what anybody says. Like, it's this weird thing. If you're supposed to be about exercise science, like, anybody about exercise science was not afraid 5 years ago, you know? And,
well, there were a couple. So I know Mike Israetel, who's a friend of mine. He was he's pro-vaccine. I am also pro-vaccine.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is, and he's stated it. He's taken hate for it. He believes it's a great thing. Yeah, he does. And Jeff Nippard is another one. And Mike Israetel is very pro-pharmaceutical too. Like, he's admittedly on a ton of steroids. He's very pro-Ozempic, which I am up to a point. I don't think it should be used as a crutch. I think it should be a tool in case nothing else works. I'm not anti-Ozempic either. I'm not really anti-anything. I believe there's applications for things, and that's where it gets misconstrued. People who are pro-Ozempic thinks that everyone should take it no matter what. That's the thing. It's like Dr. Nadolsky. He really believes that people cannot lose weight without these drugs because they can't modify their behavior without those drugs. Mm-hmm. But if you put, it's funny because you look at data. These guys love to quote data. If you look at psychological intervention, it usually outperforms diet drugs. And I'd assume that would be the same case with Ozempic or with the GLP-1. Right. So for that, I say, why can't we try? And they're like, we've been trying for years. I'm like, have we really been trying? Have we really? Like, how many people do you coach without these drugs who lose hundreds of pounds, who had these bad behaviors before that you correct with coaching? Alan, can you give me a broad number, like a ballpark?
I mean, to be honest, I've only had probably maybe 100 out of the 1,000 people that I've had that have been on Ozempic or stuff like that. Like, but
no, I mean people who weren't on Ozempic. Like, how many people have you helped? How many people have you helped go from morbidly obese to healthy body weight?
We've coached probably a couple thousand people, 2,000 people at least. You know what I mean?
So you're one guy. So what if Dr. Nadolsky, with his huge following and his cool little MD or whatever he has after his name, what if instead of going to the syringe, and I say that as a pro bodybuilder, that's kind of funny. What if instead of going to the syringe, he tried behavior modification? He tried having them work with, different people who can work on modifying behaviors. But the reason is because for some reason, wherever they went to school or whoever they listened to, told them that the human mind is too weak to control these impulse behaviors. And that's what you get with the pro-Ozempic crowd. Now, I am, again, pro-Ozempic in certain applications, but I don't think we're exhausting those applications. They're looking at overall obesity dropping. I'm looking at, I think we get similar things happening without $1,200 a month spent on a shot.
Oh, absolutely. And not to mention that it doesn't actually change habits. Like I have this thing, we should try to not be on pharmaceuticals long term. I do not know how that transmorphed, but from when I was young, we did not want people to be on pharmaceuticals for life. Like the thought of being on any pharmaceuticals, like even in your early 30s, like you were like, oh shit, you must have fucked up. You know what I mean? Like the very rare kid that had it like so severe ADHD or an actual condition, you know, like may have been on something, but like now it's like they just were. There's too much pharma. And speaking as somebody that injects themselves with testosterone every week, I'm telling you, there's too much pharma. You know, I mean, and it's definitely not of the right kind.
Testosterone is God's nectar.
Yes.
So also, I mean, did you see? I posted earlier the applications for TRT in women. Halle Berry came out and said that she's on TRT and it has changed her life. Her libido's back. She feels better. She has more energy. My wife has chronically low testosterone. She went off of it for a while, but she got her testosterone levels checked and they were low for a woman, which is crazy. It's like 0 to 8, right? Yeah. Meaning the level, whereas men usually want to stay above 500. And she's been on a low dose of the cream. And I'm not a fan of the cream for men, but women don't need much. And I'll tell you what, the changes we have seen in the last 2 weeks have been phenomenal, like absolute life-changing stuff. Yeah. And Ozempic, while it does make you lose weight, which will make you feel better, it also causes it works by slowing digestion. And that is essentially a minor case of gastroparesis, which is, it's the paralysis of your gastrointestinal system. So you're and I don't know about you, but slowing digestion does not seem like a good thing. Like when you eat stuff, you want it to process and get out. I don't, and again, it's been used in diabetics for decades, but not at this dose, not for this application. So you get healthy individuals who don't have diabetes. I'm not saying anything bad will happen. I'm saying that I don't think we have the data for this dose and this use and this application. And again, but I'm getting kind of off. I want to bring that up because it seems like there's a very crazy link between exercise scientists and following whatever the government says to do health-wise. And that's where this tweet from Jeff Nippard, and he and I forgot about this, but in 2020, we did get in a little argument over masks, and I didn't, and all that stuff and the lockdowns. He was very pro-lockdown, very pro-mask. And that's when I decided just not to engage. And I engaged respectfully when I retweeted what he tweeted. Alan, do you have that tweet that Jeff posted?
Yep, let me get it.
Yeah. And so he posted this thing on, I don't know why people won't just wear masks. Oh, Jeff, if the government told you to stick a baseball bat up your ass because it would prevent an infection, would you do it? Because honestly, sticking a baseball bat up your ass would probably be more effective at preventing COVID than the mask. And I'm not saying that. I mean, look, it's literally, and the argument coming from a guy who's so smart, which is puzzling to me because he is an intelligent individual. The argument that surgeons wear them, why can't you? Well, because I'm not popping open a goiter that's going to explode into my face.
Yeah. I mean, they wear them to avoid getting, sprayed in the face and like large spittles. Like the stupid thing. I mean, I literally just wrote a book on this. Like it wasn't about your health, the COVID pandemic. It's my book you can get it on Amazon. But
yeah, go to Amazon, buy that book.
If you can manage to smell through a mask, nothing's stopping it. Like you can't wear a cloth mask and have it protect you from smoke from a fire. And smoke particle, like if you wear a cloth mask and go into a burning building thinking that the cloth mask is going to filter out the smoke, you're dying of smoke inhalation, dude. Like, I mean, like it's over. Like you're gone. And the particles for smoke, vastly bigger. Vastly. And it's like the little stuff that I understand how some of the general public missed at the very beginning, dude. Like, but the little things that they hid, like the 6 feet thing. Like when that came out, I'm like, I know they're full of shit now because like viruses travel on aerosolized vapor. That's why it can go through the mask so easily. And that shit travels like 30 meters. You know, it's not a small thing. It goes almost, like almost 100 fucking feet, you know? And
yeah. So to read the tweet, so 5 Times August posted the tweet by Biden or POTUS, fully vaccinated people can go outdoors without a mask. That's the tweet. That's the tweet. Like outdoors, think about it. Outdoors without a mask. Outdoors, not indoors, outdoors. And the government's telling us if we can go outside in a certain way or not. I understand, like going outside naked. Okay, that's not good. Like with your schlong hanging out, not good. Yeah, but the government telling you that you need to cover your face to leave your house. You guys don't see an issue with that. You guys are
it's so crazy.
Jeff thinks it's okay for the government to mandate wearing masks outside because the government knows better. And it makes sense because he is a Canadian. So he's from Toronto. And
you know how he voted.
That's just how those leftists think. They don't like freedom. They don't trust individual responsibility. They don't like liberty. And they sure as hell can't critically think. And I will say this, Jeff, along with every exercise scientist, see, when they bring up a topic, they cite one study. When when you realize that there are studies that are contradictory to the studies they cite, and that's why I've always had trouble in this industry because I like old shit. I could find data on volume training. I could find data on high intensity training. I could find data on unilateral training. I could find data on partial reps, full reps, except you name it. I could find the data on because they've done studies. And the bottom line is so many things work. But to be good in this industry, you have to be an extremist. It's just like politics. You know, you can't just be a moderate Democrat anymore. You have to be an extreme leftist. And that's where the Mike Israel tells. And that's where the Jeff Nippards do better than me and do better than anyone in that they're like, this training is stupid. Oh, Mr. Olympia's training is wrong.
Yeah.
When, again, I did this exercise when I was getting my mentorship for training. And one of the exercises was we were watching Usain Bolt sprint. And we had to write down how we would improve his sprint time. And so we all wrote down more dorsiflexion of the foot on the way up, higher tilt, faster out of acceleration. And our mentor, he stood up and he said, you don't tell him shit. He's Usain Bolt. He's the fastest in the world. Right. But unfortunately, we're in an era where if you have an internet connection and a camera, you automatically become better than those who are better than you. And that's where these guys shine. Even though, again, but Nippard, what I will give him credit for, great natural bodybuilder, great natural power lifter, seems like a decent guy, but his arrogance and pompousness of assuming that all of us like tyrannical governments telling us when we cannot cover our face. That is insulting to the human population. And that also tells me that even though he might be book smart, his critical thinking skills are lacking dramatically.
Oh, dramatically. I mean, just because you want to be a pussy doesn't mean everybody should have to be. Just because, here's why I can't pay these people any attention, like any mind. Like he's totally, in my mind, he's completely discredited himself because it's math, man. Like I'm sure that we didn't know what was going on. Like when people didn't know what was going on, it's like, all right. But if you dug in and did the numbers, you saw like, okay, the number looks high right now. Like the infection fatality rate looks high right now, but that's because they're literally counting proven only cases versus deaths, right? So they're all like, it's like all of them because they're all at this time also putting them all on ventilators, killing them,
Whatever happened to all those events that they shut down car manufacturers? Nobody ever brings that up.
They don't talk about it at all.
Where are they? What are they doing?
I had a doctor in the comments the other day, like on Instagram, talking like, they're still using them today. It's just blah blah blah. I'm like, they were killing people with them. Like they were killing people with them. Like they just stopped about it. Yeah, But
where did they
when
go?
you looked at the number,
we shut down.
I don't know.
I remember I had to get a new car, and I had to wait 5 months because these plants were shut down for so long to make ventilators. They literally shut down auto manufacturers to make ventilators.
Insane.
And nobody talks about how we did that. Nobody talks about that. And the thing about masks was really fascinating. For fuck's sakes, how does me wearing a mask protect you? Now, I'm all for if Jeff wants to run out, put a mask on, he can put a condom on, or if he has a vagina, he could put one of those little, what do they call it, IUDs in? I don't know. I'm not assuming his gender. I know he's Canadian. They get him mad about that. But he can put a butt plug in. I don't care what he does. But who are you to tell me to put a mask on to protect you if you're already wearing a mask? So why can't I risk my life if it does, right? Why is the government telling me to put on a mask to protect someone else? That never made sense to me. Why do I need to wear a mask to protect someone if they're already wearing a mask? If the mask works, then why would I wear one?
But that's also the thing. The masks don't work. And they never did. Like, I'll also get people be like, oh, hey, why do the surgeons wear them? It's because they do not get sprayed. But also, did any of you ever see anybody, did all of you wear a mask going into a doctor's office? Like, there's going to be immunocompromised people there. If you didn't do that before 2020, not knowing what you had, you can shut the fuck up. You could have had SARS. SARS is, like, so much more dangerous than actual SARS-CoV-2. SARS has like an actual anywhere from 5 to 10% death list on it. Like, I mean, it's the original coronavirus. It happened way back, but the reason why it burns itself out is because it has an extremely short incubation period. I believe it's 2 to 7 days, and the symptoms are very severe. So people self-isolate anyway because they can barely fucking move, and they die. So like the host dies, and most times they get it. This one, when they were like, it's so much more contagious than the flu, it's so much more contagious than the flu. And as soon as they said that, I started thinking, like, you know what? When my kid moved down in December of 2019, him and his girlfriend and pretty much everybody they knew had this weird, incredible illness that later turned out, I'm sure, to be COVID, right? So I knew, I was like, it's already in the United States. If it came out of China, like, the wild thing is, like, we trust China. China's like, hey, in December we noticed this thing's running around. Like, what? Like, it's when he's talking about this, I wanted to talk about his tweet real quick. He says, like, wearing masks during an emerging global pandemic. There was no fucking pandemic, and we knew this from Italy, and this is no shit. It was not a population level threat. It can't even be argued that it was. It was just simply not a population level threat. It has just an incredibly low IFR for young people. Like, insanely low IFR. I mean, it's, give me 1 second. I have a chart for it.
Yeah, while you bring that up, I would like to say a lot of these guys, what's crazy, I don't know if Jeff has kids. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. I don't think he's thinking about the mental anguish and the retardation of growth, not meaning kids became retarded, but it slowed their growth and development because they covered their faces during critical learning times and what it did to kids, missing graduations, but the masks in schools, kids were getting sick from them. If you ever look at a mask at the end of the day of a kid, it is disgusting. And also, Jeff, Mr. Science guy, science-based, bro, you understand mask hygiene. And Alan, again, is much, much more read up on this than either of us. You do understand that you're supposed to throw those, but you're not supposed to wear cloth masks. Cloth masks are not a thing. You're supposed to wear it. And if you even touch it, you toss it. You throw it away. You're not supposed to hang it from your fucking rear view mirror.
Well, and it's people just putting them on it. Like, that's another thing too. Like, ask yourselves. Just be smart about it. Ask yourselves if you ever saw any public health official ever come across TV and explain to you how to properly don and doff a mask. without increasing your risk of infection. Because one of the first things they told everybody in early 2020 was try not to touch your face. Remember that? Like they were like, try not to touch your face, you'll be fine. No, same thing as yeah. They're like, no, touch it, slather this thing all over it, right? And you would see the president, you would see Fauci take his mask on and off, like that's less healthy for you than not wearing a mask, especially when we're looking at the IFRs for this. This is from 2020 data that is on Dr. John Ioannidis's study that's on the World Health Organization website from early 2020. It was a seroprevalence study, but also many other ones. There are many other studies. And this compares the general population IFR for each age bracket, but then it goes to the healthy IFR, and that's if people take vitamin D supplementation or they get out to the sun, they're of a healthy waist-to-height ratio, they get daily exercise, they properly hydrate, get sleep, that sort of thing, right? So under 20 years of age, the infection fatality rate is 0.002 for the general population. This is of no fucking threat to these kids. It's 0.001 for healthy kids of that age. Like, we don't actually start seeing flu numbers, like even in the ballpark of the flu, until we get into like the mid 60s. You know, like we don't even see that. Like, so we shut the. And I'm sorry that people don't like to hear this, but we shut the world down for something that was just not dangerous in any like remotely realistic sense to anybody under the age of 70, let alone anybody healthy under the age of 70. Like, it's ridiculous to even think, right? So when you realize from the early data from from both China and Italy, you realize it's all old and fat people, mostly just really old people. And while that's horrible, it's very horrible. It's what happens every fucking year. Like, it is called flu season. Old people, very old people with a lot of comorbidities who are in a fragile state, and the people that have gluttoned themselves, smoked themselves, or drank themselves, lifestyled themselves to the frailty of an old person, die from colds and flu and those sorts of things. Now, don't get me wrong, there's going to be an anomalous thing here occasionally where somebody healthy bites it from a cold. That something happens in their system, maybe they get hit at a weak immune point, or just a cascade of events. They could have some sort of inflammation going on, and it causes a cytokine storm in their lungs while their lungs are already inflamed from the cold, and they die. It happens, right? That's an anomalous thing, and that still sucks. Yeah, people die, but people do die, and we closed the world down for a cold. And it's in the IFR. It's in the actual numbers that you can find. Nobody wants to talk about it, especially people like Jeff Nippard and everybody, because here's my take. Jeff loved being able to tell people what to fucking do. Like, he like anybody that was anybody that was out there being like, oh, stand, you're 6 feet away or 6 feet under, or you're a grandma killer. Any of you motherfuckers, any of you. You did not do that because you were worried about people. You were enjoying dunking on people. Like, nobody can tell me that. Like, I've seen videos of people getting water dumped on them in Costco for not wearing a mask. If you motherfuckers were serious and they actually needed to wear a mask, you would just stay the fuck away from them. Like if you actually thought it was a dangerous thing when somebody was around you without a mask, you wouldn't have been yelling in their face, you dumb fucks. And that's the problem. Like, we have too many people that are highly respected, like Jeff Nippard and Fauci and all these people. Like, it's ridiculous. They didn't even. You're supposed to, believe in science. But again, Jeff Nippard is not a science guy. He's the science trademark guy. That's it. Like, that's it. That's all he is.
Well, it's on brand. I mean, these exercise guys on YouTube, it's their way or nothing works, right? That's how they do things. So once he bought in, and he's too narcissistic to actually admit that he was wrong. None of these guys, dude, I admitted I was wrong like 10 times today. Like, that's what people do when they're not self-absorbed narcissists. But that's this whole mindset. It plays into it. And it's fed by the fact they have all these followers constantly adoring them. And they get on this high horse like, no, you need to wear a mask. And then And then when they're proven wrong, they're like, I don't know why it was a big deal. Everybody's going to die. No. Here's the deal. The average age of death is like 75. The average age of death from COVID was like 82. So the people who died were the people who were probably going to die anyway from something. And there's always that something look, man, I got hand, foot, and mouth in 2015. I couldn't walk for 5 days, and I'm extremely healthy. Dude, sometimes it's just not your day. And life. Can
you imagine what would happen to you if you wouldn't have been healthy, though?
Oh, it would have been terrible. Adults, when they get hand, foot, and mouth, is not good. And I found that out. I had no idea it was even a thing until my nails fell off and my skin started sloughing off. That was terrible. It was wild.
Yeah, that's not good.
So I will say this. It is disappointing when the fitness industry, now we finally had, it took him 2 years. But after Greg Doucette, a fellow Canadian, saw that the coast was clear and he wasn't going to get in trouble, Greg Doucette spoke up. And I'm not mad at that. We'll take, if Jeff wants to come on board now, I'm okay with that. If you're on the freedom train, we accept bandwagon riders. That's fine with us. Yeah. But while we were getting demonetized and trying to save people's livelihoods and lives and losing, in my case, millions of dollars doing it, Jeff Nippard and Greg Doucette were in there making millions of dollars just talking about, oh, I'll do what the government tells you. And it's like, dude, if you don't, and yet it's like it never happened. And there's still, other than Greg, props to Team Sanity. You get these guys who are so narcissistic that they will not admit, no matter how strong they claim to love data. We have the data. Yeah. This data is not refutable. This data is not debatable. Masks made no sense. From an empirical standpoint, from a common sense standpoint, and now from a data-driven standpoint, masks never made sense. It never made sense to me. Why? I mean, I can smell you. I understand how viruses work from 7th grade. I learned that shit in 7th grade. So it's just, it's governed me harder, Daddy. And then they take that as their opportunity to be a superior elitist over the rest of the normies or the dummies or the Trumpers or the MAGAs. By the way, Trump's the one who did that ventilator thing. Trump's the one who started the 15 days to slow the spread. Yep. Okay, Trump never mandated masks, but also, if you guys recall, Trump cucked out and put a mask on. And people were yelling at him to put a mask on. So even I'm not Trump. I'm not even Make America Great Again. I'm America only.
America
Trump
only.
To me is not extreme enough. In my opinion,
I'm with you.
Like, here's my mask, ball it up, shove it up your fucking ass.
Yep.
The bottom line is Trump isn't strong enough. I love this comment. This brings back memories. And
that was only like 8 years, motherfuckers.
So Tom, here's the deal. Like, what we're talking about is the reason we're friends, because 2020, as Alan says, was a litmus test. It was the ultimate test to see who is about it and who's a good person and who actually has ethics and morals. And there's a lot of people who were in my life. I didn't say, "Oh, you like masks, you're out of my life." No, I just understand that if they are on that team, then the chances are they're the kind of people who will call the cops on their neighbors for having a party during a lockdown. That's your Jeff Nippards. That's your government commies. You're weak-minded, follow the system. I hate liberty. I hate freedom. And if you hate liberty and freedom, look, I'm not going to hate you as a person. We're not going to have much in common.
Well, just, the thing is, I'll never have anything for them again, ever. Like, it was the litmus test, and people don't like. I do this all the time. If I'm going to argue, if I get into a little Twitter beef or something like that, I always look back in their history and I see what they said about masks and see what they said about the vaccine. I see what they said about lockdowns and all that shit, because we're not the same. Like, if you ever thought that it was like in the government's purview to designate who was essential and non-essential, to decide that small businesses owned by citizens needed to close, like how the fuck does the government, who works for the citizens, tell the citizens their businesses need to close, but the corporations keep their businesses open? We're not the same if you guys thought that was okay, because I didn't think that was fucking okay. Like, we're not the same if you thought that it was okay for people to have to get forced out of school, forced out of the military, forced out of their profession, if they didn't take an experimental gene therapy prepared by historically corrupt people. You know, like we're not the same. I can't do it, and I won't do it. Like, don't get me wrong. I can forgive a lot of shit. Like, shit, I forgive a lot of the people that just didn't say shit. Because you guys are fucked too. You guys are assholes also. You were just cowards. You guys did nothing. You guys busily made your fucking bicep curl videos every goddamn motherfucking day without talking about the number one thing when it was involving the health and fitness of your fans, the people that watch you. You avoided the number one thing that could have been fucking with them, either through, if they were very sickly people, there was a new cold going around, but if they weren't, the government was trying to take over their motherfucking lives. They came for our fucking industry. They came for the fitness industry. They tried to close down all that shit because they know if you're fit, this shit's not dangerous. We're not fucking scared. So they came for the entire industry, and just a bunch of you motherfuckers just said, you know what? Here's how you do side lateral raises properly. Make sure your thumbs are up, no pinkies. Like, you guys just fucking kept going on and on and on as if nothing else was actually happening in the motherfucking world. I can forgive you guys, though, because you didn't actively work against my freedom, but you still are a bunch of punk-ass fucking bitches if you kept quiet in 2020. And Mark and I get to say that to a lot of fucking people.
Well, Jeff and I got in a little one tweet. I dropped it because out of industry courtesy, I'm like, this is not worth it, right? But now it's
right.
like, what motivated him to tweet? What motivated him to post that? What motivated him out of nowhere to say, masks were fine? I don't understand how you fucking idiots didn't wear masks. Why'd you have a problem with it? Why'd you have a problem with doing something that doesn't work, that everybody knows doesn't work, that we've known since the 1919 during the flu epidemic? We knew they didn't work. What made him, instead of just going on with his life, getting his ass kicked by Mike Van Wyck again, like, what made him, in the grand scheme of things, come on X and say, you know what? You fucking stupid fucking maggots, you stupid MAGA, you stupid fucking incest-ridden fucking Republicans. I don't understand why you had a problem wearing a mask. Why do you like freedom? Why do you like the First Amendment? Well, he's Canadian. That doesn't make sense to him. But what, in your opinion, Alan, what made him dig up? Like, it's like when you bury trash and then you build a ski slope on top of it. That shit's underground. It's composting. It's doing its thing. But you don't want to dig it up because you're going to find some used condoms. He just dug up some used condoms, bro.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't get why he came out for it. Like, it's like he wants... and here's the thing. I actually have thought this a while. I was actually talking to Bravo about this at one point in time. I think he totally instigated that thing with Mike Van Wyck. 100% totally instigated.
I think I said it. Like, he went up to Mike. It was, dude, this internet world... And if you haven't noticed my posts lately on Instagram, I'm on a tirade against influencers. I fucking hate them. I'm just kidding. I don't hate them. I just don't understand how someone who has a 9-to-5, who has a family, who has responsibilities, can take life advice from someone who doesn't have kids. And if they do have kids, they really don't pay attention to them, who walks around with a camera crew the whole time, and who doesn't actually have a real job other than producing content. How the fuck is that guy going to tell you how to better your life? How's that guy going to tell? Because, like Chris Gethin says, knowledge without mileage is bullshit. So unless you actually walk that walk, would you go to a hitting coach in baseball who's never hit a baseball? Right.
Yeah. No, absolutely you wouldn't. Like, I did want to, like, this is what I find amazing. He's just in it. Like, I wasn't aware that this was happening, but he is in it, right? So this is between Steve Cook. This is from June of 2023. I don't know where this started. Oh, okay. So here we go. Jeff Nippard from June 25th, 2023. You can't tell who is healthy just by looking at them. Fit-looking people can be very unhealthy, and fit people sometimes know the very least about health because genetics and special sports supplements are cheat codes for appearing fit. To try to even imply that RFK Jr. is not healthier than fucking Dr. Hotez, you're not being intellectually honest, dude. Like
well, just the obesity side of it, Alan. Take away everything else. One's obese, one is fit. That alone tells you who's healthier. Is Jeff? Is he retarded? I mean, I didn't know he said this. I didn't want to insult him, but Jeff, this might be the most retarded thing I've read on X today, and I haven't been on X today, so it is by far the most retarded thing I've seen on X today. But Jeff, for fuck's sakes, dude, are you really a health and fitness influencer? And this is the hill you're dying on?
So Steve Cook, who clearly has me blocked, by the way, you totally agree with it. He has me blocked when he was up.
By Steve, I like Steve.
Steve was on was one of the coaches on The Biggest Losers, and he had like a 58-year-old 400-pound woman doing box jumps. So
that's
it's not, but you know what I mean. But anyway, nothing against Steve, especially because he says this, because 2020 was the great equalizer, 2020 and 2021. So Steve, if you see this, unblock me, my apologies, whatever, we're good. You're smarter than I thought you were. But
Steve is an awesome dude. Good dude.
I'm sure he is. I was doing my thing at the time too. You know what I mean? Like everybody was a target. So, I totally agree with Jeff.
Trust me, Alan. I fucking know.
everybody caught it. But
no
he
one
says
was
like
immune from Alan's smoke at that time.
yeah, no. At that point in time, I was just like fucking swinging them. But anyway, totally agree with Jeff on this. We'll say that I was hoping for Jeff to come out and admit how wrong he was about the COVID vaccine with all the data that has been brought to light. So, Steve Cook, sorry, you have my sincere apology. I'm not deleting the videos though. But Jeff comes up and says, what was I wrong about? The COVID vaccines prevented and continue to prevent severe disease, hospitalization, and death. They prevented spread until new variants became evasive. Risk of COVID is still greater than the risk of the side effects of vaccines. Not for young and healthy people, it's not, because you don't know how to do math, bitch. That's all still true. It's actually, none of it was true from the very beginning. It wasn't actually stopping hospitalization, nor was it even stopping severe illness. A lot of times, the vaccine itself would give somebody a severe illness in a reaction. It doesn't stop transmission.
I'm actually a fan of the right to choose to take the vaccine. So if Jeff feels this way, by all means, get 12 boosters. I hope he's getting his boosters. I do.
Yeah, I do too. I do.
But to say that I need to get vaccinated to prevent the spread to someone else is absolutely insane. And also, he kind of owned himself on the last part until new variants came about. Alan, viruses constantly evolve. It's how they survive.
Right.
And so it protected people for 2 weeks until the virus
here's the
thing.
This
isn't working anymore. I'm gonna evolve.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Do you know why it evolved? Normally viruses do not evolve that quickly in nature. When you don't do anything to it. Because here's the thing. Like there's certain people that are going to be immune no matter what. They've had SARS or a different variation of the cold, and they have T-cell immunity, so they're already immune, right? Like probably 50% of our population was already immune to COVID. Just FYI.
I don't think I got it.
Yeah, just FYI. But like when he puts it this way, where they became evasive from other variants, when you create a leaky vaccine or a leaky treatment, because this is not a vaccine, by the way, this is a gene therapy. Gene therapies they change your body's function. Vaccines trick your body into doing something. Like there's a difference. Like vaccines get injected, they trick your body into producing the antibodies for the virus it thinks it just got. The gene therapy gets injected into you and trains your cells to create something different that it hadn't been creating. That's a gene therapy. So anybody wants to argue with that, fine. You don't need to see it that way. But I just gave you the definition of what was a gene therapy before 2021 for the entire history of just about medical fucking science. And same thing with the vaccine. But when you have a leaky gene therapy, meaning that it doesn't actually stop the virus from infecting the person or from transmitting from the person, that it just masks the symptoms, which, by the way, congratulations, asymptomatic spread wasn't actually a thing, and it's still not a thing for unvaccinated people, but vaccinated people, especially in that first little round, you guys can asymptomatically spread because you were taking something to suppress the symptoms. That's why we don't make leaky vaccines. But also, the other reason why is that they promote variant change, they promote mutation, because the virus is trying to figure out a way to survive and stay going. So since its symptoms are blocked, it absolutely tries to evolve. That's what happens. It's in the data. It's always been in the data that leaky vaccines or gene therapy suppression of symptoms literally increases the chances of variants. That, and it could have been genetically engineered to create variants more often also too. But however, the biggest thing about it, the biggest thing about it is that it was never deadly enough to do shit about anyway. It was probably in the United States in like September or October when you look at old sewage, samples and blood samples, donated blood from Red Cross, you realize like there was something like 3 definitive samples on December 19th of 2019, and that means that the person had COVID, and they were thousands of miles apart, these 3 people, right? So wow. They had COVID, right? Which means for them to have antibodies in their system, they got over COVID at least like 4 weeks before, right? So 4 weeks before, they probably got COVID or got over COVID, which takes about 2 weeks, and it incubates for about 2 weeks. So that's another month you stack on there. So we're looking at somewhere around October for COVID to be in the United States. So the first wave of COVID was in the United States and running rampant in a fat-ass, gluttonous-ass country, and we didn't really notice it. It was never deadly enough to close down for. Never, ever, ever. If it was in 2019, and that is provable, we should have never closed down at all. We should have never done anything because it was already just a fucking bad cold season, right?
Well, however, Biden and Obama did that. They
did that for SARS and MERS, Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome too,
which kills more kids than COVID could ever imagine. Since the first time in history, first time in history, we've literally sacrificed the young to preserve the old. It's usually the old people who are like, I will go out and I will sacrifice myself for the benefit of the youth. But the boomers are such a narcissistic, just horrible group of people that they're like, nah, fuck those kids. Crazy.
So
the spike protein is what scares me, because you get COVID, you get an acute spike protein and it damages your heart.
Yeah.
It's going to create maybe not damages, it creates strain on the heart, might create a little bit of micro scarring, whatever. But the vaccine literally has this spike protein, which is the part of COVID that damages your heart, and you're constantly giving more of it. So you're putting this cardio stressor, and the myocarditis risk for young men alone makes Jeff's statement even more asinine. Because if you look at infection rate alone, let's say he's right about infection rate. Cool. Why would I take a group that is dying less than they would from the seasonal flu and put risk, even if it's very little risk, why would I take a healthy young male and put more risk in his body than he would have just not having it? That makes
it's kind of crazy. It makes no sense at all, because like I still don't understand why we did anything different. Nobody can seem to tell me that. Like, nobody can tell me why we did anything different. And that's bothersome to me, because like we should have never locked down. Like with lockdowns have always been known to be completely deleterious and bad for your health. We were talking before my ADHD takes me down a different road. We were talking about the variants. Like, the variants are always less deadly, almost always, and all of these were. Like fucking, they were nothing, right? And they were trying to terrify you. I can tell you this right now. kids were at almost no fucking danger. Like it's literally a statistical anomaly for a child to die from COVID. There's no fucking way we should have had schools closed. And if you were afraid as a teacher, stay the fuck home and let a different teacher get your goddamn job. You have the right to self-isolate, but we should have never been told to fucking isolate. We were told to isolate. They closed schools to protect teachers, not children. I mean, it's fucking crazy. This is a good one. This is right.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Right here. Don't forget, they sent college kids home. That is the most.
That was genius.
Yeah, to spread it. It's fucking crazy. You know, it's so wild. I mean, that was a dispersal method. Like, they did everything ass backwards. I mean, everything. I would love to debate Jeff Nippard on this because he speaks from a place of authority. Here's the thing: when you say like, "Hey, I'm a science guy. I only do the science," and then you say shit that you don't know about, but it sounds sciencey, your fucking people are going to believe it. So his 3 million followers are like, "Oh, Jeff says that that masks work and the vaccine's good." Like,
but I thought we weren't allowed to give opinion if we weren't doctors or experts. He's an expert on bicep curls. He's not an ex. Yeah. So I'm told all the time, just shut up and lift. What do you know? You're a meathead. I'm a meathead with a career in health and fitness. Actually, no, it's not really. But I'm a meathead who actually goes out and works. Okay, I don't just do meathead shit for a living. Yet this guy who just does meathead shit for a living, he's given a pass because he says what the consensus wants to hear. He says what the traditional media, the legacy media wants to hear. He says what the government wants to hear. So he's not getting suppressed. He's not getting suppressed. He's not getting the blowback other than Steve Cook. And God bless Steve Cook. We must protect Steve Cook at all costs. What a beautiful, beautiful human being. I mean, he's one gorgeous man. I must say, he's a very gorgeous
He's beautiful.
Man.
He is beautiful.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I totally would.
Very. He's very pretty.
He's a pretty, but masculine pretty. It's anyway. I'm getting really gay right now. Yeah. So my whole thing is, look, if you're science based, and again, like I'm wondering where the people are who are for masks, who are saying the same people who tell me to shut up because I'm just a bodybuilder. I am not just a bodybuilder. This guy is just a exercise scientist. That's all he does. Yet he's not getting blast back from the same people who tell me to shut up because I'm not an expert. He is an expert, but not on this shit. The only one here who's an expert on this is Alan. I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy who reads shit and knows how to read and has a decently high IQ and has critical thinking skills. Jeff is just an exercise scientist, unless I'm missing something on his resume. But because he's propping up the legacy media and what the government wants you to hear, the sheep on the left are like, yay, Jeff, science-based. There's nothing less science-based than the bullshit that Jeff was spewing out of his mouth earlier today.
Yep.
Period.
And, you know,
that was the most science thing I've read.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's truly wild. But we were talking about the spike protein a little bit ago. So, just so you know, folks, you're not stuck with it. Like, there's things you can do, and we're gonna try to help with that very, very soon. By the way, so
actually next week. So one thing, just a quick shout out to Cernovich. I actually helped him design this because Mike is obsessed with health. I mean, this is a guy who is obsessed with everything health. He's a former meathead. You know, he still lifts and rides bikes. And we wanted to create the perfect product to help people with, let's say, no problems. But you want to make sure you have your HDL, LDL controlled. You have, you have blood pressure. You minimize your risk for blood clots. And you want to go with speaking of science, you want to go for scientific dosing. And there's new data on nattokinase, which shows that they went higher, they went lower. The dose that creates all these wonderful effects from nattokinase is 10,800 FUs. And good luck finding that in one serving. You're going to go and you're going to buy a bunch of different pills and you're going to have to take like 10 of them a day. And then you also have things like vitamin K2, which also helps with arterial health, which helps essentially potentiate these, and also helps with vitamin D, right? And then you have citrus bergamot, which has huge applications in cholesterol management and lipid profiles. And you put these together, and there's a product coming out next week, cleanformnutrition.com. It's on the bottom banner right there. It's called Pure Blood. And if you haven't taken the vaccine, awesome, good for you. This is still great for you because it will help you in creating that perfect atmosphere for healthy heart, right? For healthy circulation, for anti-inflammation. And then you also have people who did take the vaccine who are dealing with spike proteins and potential clotting risks. So if you did take the vaccine, it will help you as well. And in fact, if you look at some of the doctors who prescribe the protocols for people who are dealing with long COVID, which we are finding out might be linked to the vaccine, they're recommending nattokinase. But unfortunately, even these experts haven't read the data. They're recommending like 2,000 to 4,000 FUs a day. No, you need 10,800. So Pure Blood will be out next week at cleanformnutrition.com. And you can use Alan's coupon code to get 10% off your order. And there will be a way to save 10% more if you subscribe, because you're going to want to have this every month. It's a monthly thing.
Absolutely.
It's a month supply. It's going to be like $40 for an entire month. It's a little over $1 a day for the most effective circulation supplement, blood, heart, you name it, ever created. So I'm really excited. I can't wait.
Me too.
I can't wait for people to start taking this. It's awesome.
And in the chat, I shared links to 2 articles that are on Clean Form Nutrition website right now that explains to you, one, how it can help with just the spike protein in theory and through science, and another one where it's just talking about each ingredient and how incredible it is and how helpful it is to just for your just long-term health in general, even if you don't have it. So please do check that out.
I did not expect so. I mean, like this isn't my thing, man. This is something that I'm excited about because I'll take it. And I've been taking nattokinase. I was one of the first ones to really get on the nattokinase train. I think Daniel,
literally right
what's
here.
His name? Yeah, dog crap training. I forgot his name. He was one of the first to really get on it. But once COVID hit and I was worried about, and my buddy Jerry Ward died of blood clot. He died of a deep vein thrombosis in his leg from a flight. And he's had his health issues in the past. So I fly all the time. I'm on a plane every week. So, I really, really took notice of that. So I started taking nattokinase, did a few of the first videos. If you look on YouTube, look up nattokinase low blinder, you see it going back. Citrus bergamot. I really, really, really like that ingredient. You need to dose it correctly. And vitamin K2 is just fantastic. And it has been shown vitamin K2 alone. So here's the crazy thing. A lot of us have built up arterial plaque. You want to get your CAC score, or you want to prevent arterial plaque because, well, that's what causes stoppages of the heart and heart attacks.
Right.
So nattokinase has been shown to decrease arterial plaque, and vitamin K2 on its own has been shown to decrease Dante. That's his name. And vitamin K2 has also been shown to decrease arterial plaque. So whether you're dealing with current conditions, again, consult with your doctor, or you're dealing with just not wanting to have those conditions, you want preventative medicine, this is something I will never not take.
Right. Every day. All right, man. Day. So every damn day. That's right. Goddamn. All right.
Hey,
if
you remember Alan's roasts,
yeah,
then that will mean something to you. That will mean a lot to you.
Every damn day fitness, baby.
You gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
Oh yeah, dude, I love that song still.
Cialis. Let's talk about dick pills. So Cialis is micro. So realize, guys, Cialis is originally created as a heart medication, but the people taking it noticed they were getting raging boners because a lot of the pathways that work for increasing circulation in the heart are also, involved in erections. So with Cialis, they usually dose it, I believe, 5 milligrams a day. It's actually very good for your heart. And a great side effect is boners.
Yeah. It's a good side effect.
Always. I got a boner right now.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it.
Well, I mean, you did wear my favorite shirt today.
Yeah, my Spider-Man shirt. Yeah, that's right.
Hey,
That's right. You like
been
it?
great
All
having
right.
you guys.
And so we'll be back with believe we have Jewcast this week also too. So
Yeah, I don't know
everybody
who the guest
looking
is
forward
going
to
to
it.
be, but Andrew always brings the bangers.
The bangers, man. We're talking to people. I'm like, I can't believe I'm talking to this motherfucker.
Dude, last week was wild. I still haven't edited it and got it all up. I've had a crazy beginning of the week, but
Right.
last episode, if you didn't catch it, youtube.com/@Jewcast, it was fucking wild. Like Alan and I were texting each other, like, what the fuck is going on?
This guy is insane. I love it. It's so fucking cool. I thought I talked a lot. He was so happy to talk, and he was like, he had a fucking almost gone like gallon of vodka right next to him too. Like
he was drinking vodka. That was his beverage. Like I have a shaker cup of Hydroglyph. He had vodka, not even in a cup. He had the bottle of vodka. It was the wildest episode. The wildest episode. Oh, did I just do a Nazi salute? Did I just do it?
Oh yeah. Oh, here we go. Jesus Christ. Oh, so fucking much.
All right, fellas. So we will see everyone here Thursday night.
Later.
The Holy Trinity Bundle isn't just about weight loss, it's about empowering you to find your healthiest, happiest self. Let's talk about what's in the bundle and how it caters specifically to our needs. First, we got Ember, which is not just any fat burner. It's also going to boost your mood, your energy levels, while also suppressing your appetite. And if you're worried about it being too strong, you can split the tablet in half to tailor its impact. Next, we have Alchemy NCT, which turns the carbs that you eat into energy and not fat. Yes, energy, not fat. This is our way of making sure that the meals that you eat contribute positively to your weight loss journey. And girls, we all know that we want that. And finally, no morbidity. This one's my favorite because it works while you sleep. It burns fat and controls those nighttime cravings without any stimulants, so you wake up feeling refreshed. Try it out and feel the genuine difference. Here's to new beginnings and real results.